welcome to Morally Grey. My name is Julia, and I'm here with the beautiful ladies.
Yes, Nova.
And Hiya. And this is our first video on this channel, and since it is called Morally Grey Please, we decided to make the first video dedicated specifically to Morally Grey characters. And today we have 8 or 7 characters each that we consider super morally grey characters slash boyfriends that we want to talk about. We will see if we have characters that coincide or if we disagree with certain characters being morally grey.
Yeah.
So we're kind of excited for this discussion.
Yeah.
Let's just start it really strong, and it's gonna be not a surprise for anyone who's watching this video probably. And this is Rith from Archetype series. This is one of my favorite morally grey characters. And I know some people think that he's more like a cinnamon bun, and I agree in the relationship, but I feel like because he does so many like evil things outside of the relationship, he has murdered a lot of people, that makes him morally grey, even though he is passionate about his friends, he's passionate about his family, he is ready to dedicate his life to save everyone, but because he does have some secret evil intentions, for me, it makes him perfect. Morally grey character.
We were trying to figure out is he morally grey or he's not morally grey? And in my opinion, I was the one that was I think he's more of a cinnamon bun. Because and this is coming from someone that is currently reading the series, so I do not know how it goes further down the series. But from the point where I'm at, even outside of the relationship, he has this good heart, in that way that he wants to be a good High Lord, he wants to do things differently. So this is why I think that he's a little bit of a cinnamon bun, but I do understand that he's morally grey because he does a bunch of bad things to sort of get there, especially to protect Valaris. He has this whole good, this whole bad evil persona specifically to protect his people. So yeah.
You see that a lot though, I feel in books, that they have that persona just to protect people and people around them. One of mine does.
Yeah.
I still need to read the series. I've read the first book, and I enjoyed him in the first book. But the second book, I just had a hard time just with how her feelings changed rapidly, in my opinion. I put the book down. I will pick it back up, and I will read the series, and then we'll talk later on down the road about him. But yes, he's your number ones.
Yes.
So my number one, I think, is also on your list.
Okay.
I'm gonna go, well, I don't know if he's my number one, but Wrath from Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yes.
I mean, Demon Prince, 7 Deadly Sins. It's a really well written book, I feel like. She summons a demon, and it just happens to be Wrath. And I think the way the book evolves, again, no spoilers, it's really well done, how they kind of, because it is one of those stories where the first book takes place, in one world, and then it kind of evolves to another realm. And I always worry about those because it's they're so separate from one another. You know what I mean? The feel I always get. And that's kind of the issue I had with Avatar as well. But I think it was really well written. I really enjoy the characters. I'm really excited because they have, is it Envy? She's got a book coming out this year,
she has,
which I'm really excited about. So he's my number one for morally grey. He's pretty morally grey.
He is. I haven't added him to my list. And I'll explain why. I feel like I didn't add him because what makes him morally grey for me is his birthright. So I feel like because he is the Prince of Hell, and that's who he is, we automatically think, okay, he's morally grey.
Right.
But everything he does just did not seem, he was for me, associated with this medieval prince.
So for me, it's just the connection between, him and his female counterpart. That's what kind of really, that's where I find attraction in the morally grey.
Okay, the next person on my list is Hunt Afeller. He's a fallen angel that's being enslaved by the archangels because he wanted to overthrow them. He's just a classic morally grey character for me. I love him so much, and I think I read the second book right after the first one, and I can't wait for the third book to come out in January.
So this one, so morally grey that could almost be black. Almost.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a redemption arc there. And it is Draco Malfoy.
Really?
Oh.
What? What? Where does that come from?
When you think about morally grey characters.
I thought you were going Snape. I was like, Harry Potter.
but that is the thing. I was thinking about like both Snape and Draco, and
Interesting.
I think Snape is probably. I don't know. Like I'm still like I think Snape is probably gonna be on my list too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, if we want to like talk about both of them, we can talk about both of them because they're both on my list definitely. They're not necessarily good characters. Like if you think about like both about Draco and about Snape, obviously like. Draco has always been like this like privileged kid that has no problems being a bully, and he like was raised within like this family that was very much like former like Death Eaters. I don't actually know if Narcissa was a Death Eater, but like close enough. He was very like raised in that environment, and he had like no problems with that up until the point that like things got like very real, and he had to do some like very bad things such as plot to murder, and then things start to sort of like change a little bit. And with Snape, I feel like it's also a very similar situation that like he had no problems being a Death Eater and doing all of those bad things up until, and obviously like again he has his reasons. He was very bullied by like James and the Marauders when he was growing up, and like that, and like his background is also like from like very dark. So he has like his reasons to like go into it, but he was like very comfortable being that up until the point that Voldemort decided to murder Lily.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh no. Like he was okay if like Voldemort murdered James, but like as soon as like he decided to murder Lily, he was like, no. They're definitely like very close to Black, but they have a little bit of a redemption arc in a way. So I think that they have to be considered. But I think that like when we're talking about like morally gray boyfriends, which is like the reason why I was talking about like Draco is because like Draco is more like on the boyfriend side than Snape. Snape was never like gonna fit the description.
No.
Whereas Draco like
More so.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a twofer as well because they're both from the same series. I am gonna go with Zodiac Academy. I'm gonna go with Darius and Lance Orion. So neither of you have read it, so we're gonna try and keep this spoiler free. But basically, Darius is one of the 4 kings of the Academy, and he is like an heir, in a sense, to the throne with the other 4 because these twin daughters were killed. Not really. Anyway, so these 2 twins show up at the Academy, and basically they are threatening to take away their throne, the 4 kings. So they make it their goal in life to get them out. It's a good series.
I can't wait to read it. Like I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah. Okay. Is it just me? Sometimes if I know something's going to happen, or if something happens that I have a hard time digesting, I will just put the book down and I will walk away, and I will come back to it months later because I need time to process.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So I haven't finished the series. Like I'm not up to date with it, but I read all 5 in a row. Like I was just like couldn't put it down. Could not wait to get to the next one. It was very fast paced, really well written. But again, triggering. A lot of bullying, but very spicy.
So the next person that's on my list is, I think that you definitely read these books.
Okay.
I'm not sure
I'm
about
excited.
you. It is Once Upon a Broken Heart.
Of course, he's on my list. I was getting to him. Yes.
And this is Jax. And Jax.
How can you not?
Yes. I mean, he's one of the fates, and he's like
Which I love.
perfect representation of like morally great.
Another easy read. Like such a quick read.
Yes.
It's not very long.
It's not. No, it's like 300 something pages. Like, and it's very, very quick read. But I feel like every single character in that series is more.
So my next one is another one that like I feel like I have to put this one like sort of top of my list ish, even though I haven't even finished the book.
Yes.
And it's the book that we're all reading right now for our book club.
Yes.
Oh.
And
yes, he was on my list.
It was like on my list.
Yeah.
Like
you can't.
He's the fastest to make my list, I think, ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't finished the book.
Okay.
And he's already like.
Same.
Yeah.
Don't keep them waiting.
Zayden Riorson.
He's like so bad, but he's so good.
Yes.
There's something about the shadows that kind of surround
him. Powers too.
Because there's another. I'll get to him. Similar, and it's I don't know, something about it. It's just it makes him more ominous and delicious.
But yeah, like it's kind of funny because like like when you start reading a book, right? like they first like introduce him when they're like she's about to go on the parapet and like she sees him and then he's just like looking at her with like hatred.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh yeah.
That's
You just know,
I mean,
like, you just know, like,
yeah.
within the environment of the Basquiat, specifically within the environment of the writer's quadrant, there's a lot of competition, and, like, they're, like, even in a certain way, like, kind of encouraged to, like,
well, they're also
kill each
competing
other.
for the dragons, because there's
Exactly,
only
yeah.
a limited amount of dragons, and realistically, all of the training that they do is to, I mean, not giving too much away, but is to be able to ride and fight on dragons. So even just the training itself is so vicious. I mean, half of the students don't survive just the training aspect. So
Yeah.
murder's just another way to
Exactly,
thin
yeah.
the flock, because they, you know, like, it's just kind of getting rid of the weaklings is kind of how
Yeah.
they see it.
Yeah.
Zayden is very much gray because, like, he is, like, still okay doing, like, bad things for, like, the... just, like, to, like, be able to, like, stay alive and, like, protect the people that, like, he thinks should be protected, like, protect his own.
That need, yeah.
But he's still also, like, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
My next one is Kel Maresh from Darker Shade.
Mhm.
I love him. He is, I mean, he's an Antari, so he's a magician that there's only two left in the world that can actually
Like he travels
he
between-
travels between worlds or London's parallel universes, basically. Like he's one of the only two that can do it. He's very cynical, grumpy, jaded, all the good stuff, all the stuff you want. You know, he's just kind of that character that's hard to win over, but you know he's like got a heart of gold. He doesn't let a lot of people in. He doesn't like to socialize. He's just very standoffish with most people. But he's just, I don't know, is he even morally gray? Like, he's just grumpy. I don't know if he's morally gray, because, I mean, he does...
I have a bunch of characters on my list that are, like, they're very grumpy, and they're kind of, like, standoffish,
Yeah.
so, like...
I mean, technically he's a smuggler. Like, he smuggles items from the
Yeah.
different Londons, which is not allowed. So he is morally gray in that sense. Bad guy, but I love him. You can't... I love Holland as well. Like, I love both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like really build that kind of connection with the characters,
Yeah.
but I can totally see like Cal being like morally gray for what he does and who he is, and Holland too. Like,
Yeah.
well, Holland is like
She likes them morally black.
yeah.
But even just like, you know, he's got one black eye, one blue. Like, it sounds silly. I don't know, he's like got red hair with the silver streak. I also like the fact that he's a little bit unique in terms, like, as a general rule, morally gray characters are like big, dark hair, muscles.
Yeah.
But he's kind of like, I don't know, I like him.
Yep.
I like him.
The next person that's on my list is typical representative of morally good characters.
Yes.
And this is Jason Becca.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah.
He's like handsome and hot, and he right off the bat he hates her for some unknown reason.
Right.
And I only read the first book. I know there was like 6 or 7 books in the series, so I haven't gone further down the series.
Me
I only
neither.
read the first book.
Yeah.
I will definitely go back into the series, and because of him, because I really like his character, I want to see how his character grows. I feel like he made the first book for me, like their relationship, that tension between him and the main character.
I agree. I think I would like to continue the series because I did like the way they were going with it in the first book, like with her character and her non-magicalness.
Yeah.
I agree. He's a good character. He's that kind of cliche, like, king of the school, bad boy.
Yeah.
You know, like, no one can touch him, no one can talk to him, stay away from him. But she also, in going to the school, she doesn't know it's a magical school.
Wanted to put him on my list, but I feel like I don't remember much about his character, but he has to be.
But I love that, actually, about characters that you remember, like, years later, even though you don't necessarily remember why you were infatuated with them, but they stay with you.
Yeah.
That's
So, and because, like, up until the point in the series that I read, the series is not all out, and I also haven't read all the books that are out.
You know.
Oh, you know.
Is he morally
it's Zeth.
Yeah.
Like the assassin from
He was,
the Stormlight Archives series.
Yes.
Like, I only read the first 2 books. I love him, even though he is a very sort of side character. Like, he's not like too...
Well, in the first 2. Oh,
yes.
I mean, he's not even really in it as much in the first one.
Exactly. Like,
It's
he
a
is
great
very,
character.
like, he's talked about, and he, like, what he does is a very big, like, part of, like,
I can't
the
wait to
books.
see where the character grows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's so mysterious,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, every time that there is, like, anything with him, and there's, like, any chapter about him, I am enthralled, and I want to know so much more, which is why I wanted to put him on my list.
Yeah.
Like, he had to be there, because he has that thing. He has that,
I
like,
agree.
je ne sais quoi that,
But-
like, just, like, draws you to him.
I mean, Brandon Sanderson, the way he writes characters, the way he writes
Oh my
world,
gosh,
like
yeah,
it's insane.
Magic and, like, everything, like...
But what I love is that, like, we don't know much about that character, and yet we're already infatuated.
I felt like he had to be on my list, especially because, like, unlike you guys that, like, have been reading romances for a very long time, I only had started
haven't.
reading romances, so,
Yeah.
like, I feel like I don't have as many, like,
Yeah.
romantic characters.
Hey,
And so I have to throw in my
here for
fantasy
you.
ones.
Yes. We will build it up for you.
Exactly.
Don't worry.
My list is already, like, so, like, big with, like, maybe, like, dozens and dozens of books that, like,
Yeah.
just based on, like,
Mhm.
the ones that you guys
Yep.
suggested, so.
Next up. Okay, so this is a series I don't think either of you have read. You probably have it on your TBR. It is the Plated Prisoner.
I do have it.
Yeah. So, I'll be honest. Okay, the first one. So Guild is the first one. It was very slow for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I didn't. It was very slow. It felt to me like building blocks. Book 1. I didn't really enjoy it. I wasn't super keen to read more, in all honesty. But I kept reading because I'm like, there's got to be a love interest here. It's coming. Like, I'm just waiting for it. Second book. You meet Rip. Rip.
Oh my gosh, just that sound. I was like...
He's Fae, so basically in their world, there are 6 kingdoms. There used to be 7, which was a Fae, but it no longer exists. But Rip is Fae, or obviously Fae to the main character. And so she sees him and she's like, you know, he's got a little bit of a point to his ears. He has spikes all down his arms, on his eyebrows. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not generally a Fae lover. Like, I love Fae, but, like, not a book boyfriend lover. But he's just that tall, dark, ominous creature. He's dark, he's mysterious, he's a little bit unique because of, obviously, his Fae features, and he is the commander of this army, the 4th Kingdom's army, and he is quite well known. You know, you look at him and he's vicious, but he also has that aura about him because he is Fae, but other people don't necessarily know what it is. And yeah, I was drawn to the character right away, really enjoyed it. The evolution of his character, it's really, I didn't see it coming. And I'll be honest, generally you can kind of see it coming. Like, if you've read enough books, and we have, like, you know where characters are leading. This one I was surprised, pleasantly surprised, and I can't go into it, spoilers, but his evolution might even be better. I can't. It's a thing. Read it.
So the next character, I don't think that either of you read the series.
Okay.
It's called Dawn of Onyx, and the morally gray character here is Cain Ravenwood, and he's Fae. It's a lot of adventures. It's a slow burn romance, and obviously there's Fae that's morally gray to his core, and I feel like the same way as Hunt Thaler, when we do feel his, like, evil deeds till the very end of the book, that was the case, because the end of the book just broke my heart. This book definitely did give me the vibes of reading, like, Akatar or A Serpent in the Wings of Night, like similar type of characters, and I'm there for it. Like, I love those kind of books, and I like those kind of characters, and his moral grayness was just outstanding for me, especially in the second part of the book. That's when, like, I could sense how much baggage he has, and, like, how much stuff he's done in the past, and, like, how much he carries into the present, and how much it all affects all the people around him. So Yeah, I love the series. I highly suggest.
Okay.
Read that one.
Send it to me. Yeah.
I'm actually like in doubt who to say like next because I have like a pair that is very light gray, almost white. So like
Video are you doing?
Just
You're like, I feel like you're in the middle. Like I'm like give me all the darkest dark.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh look, I'm on the lighter side.
yeah, because like
You're
most
like
of the books that
cinnamon
I've read like up until that point, like the romance ones, because the first romances that I started reading and like they're well, I guess I'm gonna go with that. The first romances that I started reading were the Cassandra Clare universe.
What pair? I know what pair is coming.
The
Are they
Herondales.
morally gay? Great.
No, the Herondales. They're again like they're not. I don't know like that they're gray. They're more on like the grumpy like
Yeah.
sassy like bitchy
Cocky.
like cocky like side in a way. But like both Jace and Will, they have that sort of
It's attractive. Yeah.
yeah, they have like that thing like when they start out like with their romantic interests, they're like very like jerks
Yeah.
like to them and
Yeah.
they're just like keeping them in bay, and both of them they have like good reasons for it. I feel like
Yeah.
Will has better reasons.
Yeah.
I'm a Will girl.
Oh yeah.
I also like I'm a Will and Gem girl, but
Yeah.
like Gem is like 100% cinnamon bun. He's like very white. I don't think that like Gem has like
Oh
a
my
bad
God.
bone in his body.
Honestly.
Whereas like Will is very like
Best
on the
love triangle ever.
oh my gosh, yes,
written.
like
And you don't even like that.
I hate love triangles. I don't like them.
yeah,
But
except
except
that one.
that one.
So yeah, like he is like very on the light side.
I-
so like
yeah.
just to sort of like counter like the Draco Snape of the
Yeah.
list, let me put like
Yeah.
Will and Jace there because they're both like very on the like light gray, almost white,
Yeah.
but I don't know. They're like I love those like sort of grumpy, sassy characters like that Mr. Darcy. Like he is like
You're gonna like my next one then.
he's like my Mr. Darcy is one of my honorable mentions, I guess.
Oh yeah.
like so.
That's what got me started on this whole thing in the first place.
Yeah. So it's sort of like that. So like he is like not like quite gray. Like
Yeah.
he's not like an assassin. Like he's not like murdering people. Like
No.
love them. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like Will girl through and through.
I don't think either of you have read the series. It is. I'm gonna go with Hawk Flynn from Blood and Ash.
I didn't know that you read the series.
Have you read the series?
No.
Oh,
But I didn't know you did.
why?
I don't know.
Oh.
You never talked to me about
Oh,
it.
it's amazing. You'll love it. Hawk Flynn basically is he is a royal guard that ends up taking care of the maiden. The maiden is someone who's kind of blessed by the gods, and she's not able to be looked upon or touched. She is pure, and he ends up being her guard. Yeah, he. Anyway, in the beginning of the book, she does kind of sneak out, and she has an interaction with Hawk where he thinks she's someone else due to the cloak she's wearing. I might have read it more than once. It's a good scene. It's pretty, but she's a maiden. Like she's not allowed to get too friendly or friendly at all. Really, she's not. But it's well written. Really enjoyed it. A lot of twists and turns. It's a good series.
Did you read the first book or did you read the whole series?
I read. I'm on the second book,
Okay.
but it took the first scene for me to be sold on him. I mean, this is the thing, right? You know, he's a hot, guard that comes in and fights shirtless and where all the maidens can watch. Like, yep, I'm in. What more do you need, people? I find that I tend to like a lot of morally gray guys that have more to them than what is, that they first show. So a lot of hidden aspects of themselves that kind of come out, but that's fun. That's the guessing game. I enjoy that kind of like trying to figure out who he is and why he's
Like that.
doing this and why he's
Yeah.
like that, getting that backstory. And so I think you really enjoy the series as well. Because he's just, you just want to punch him and kiss him at the same time.
Well, the next character that I have, I believe you haven't read this series either. It's called The Witch Haven.
Oh,
the first
no,
book is
I
called
have
The
it.
Witch Haven.
I haven't read it yet though.
Okay.
I want to, is it really?
It's-
He's that good. Ooh.
It's good. The
Okay.
series,
I
I
did the
only read
series.
the first book.
Okay.
Yeah, there is the second book. I
Oh,
think
okay.
it's maybe it's zoology. I'm not entirely sure if it's a series, but there's definitely
Okay,
two books out.
okay.
The Witch Haven and I think the second one is The Witch Hunt.
Yes. that
And
sounds
when I
familiar.
picked up that book, like everything felt wrong about it. Like it's not my type of book according to the premise because I don't like anything that's happening in the kind of old times, like medieval times, like you know, like the
Oh right, is
the
it King
serpent and the
Arthur?
dove.
Or...
No, like
Oh,
it's like
I didn't really like.
I didn't like that one either.
Unpopular opinion.
But it's like similar, like I think it's like maybe like 70s, 60s, like it's like that time.
Yes. Okay.
And it was also about witches, and I am not a big fan of witches. There is the character, his name is Finn, and so what's happening in the book is witches are hunted, and the main character, the girl, she doesn't know that she's a witch, and then she accidentally murders someone with her magical abilities, and she's taken by these two nuns, and it's like this, they call sanatorium, where they treat people against, like, I think, maybe flu or something, like some disease, but technically speaking, it's not a sanatorium. It's the school for witches that they learn to master their abilities there and to kind of like hide from everyone.
Yeah.
And all the witches there are female witches. The main character meets this guy, his name is Finn. And he belongs to a different community of people who also possess magical abilities, but the male community. Finn is such, like, he's so great. Like, he's not like a typical character where, like, he does bad things with good intentions. Like, his good intentions are so distorted that you're, like, even questioning his sanity. But for some reason, you just grow to, like him a lot. Like, I can't say, like, I love him, but, like, you just grow to appreciate him as a person and just try to, like, figure out, like, why everything is so wrong about him and, like, how it started. And, again, there's romance, like, there's like a slow burn romance in the series. And on the side note, the serpent and the dove, like,
Yes.
I was thinking about that character.
Really?
Just for a second though,
know.
because I felt like just like he could make a perfect, morally great character if only there was a good character development in the book. I feel like we didn't get anything from that book. Like, I didn't understand, like, it was like everything was so surface. Like, there was
I didn't connect.
I didn't connect with anyone.
This one, I debated putting him on my list because, first of all, I haven't finished this series. It's the Daughter of the Moon Goddess.
Oh.
Be like, Wensha. As I was reading the book, I understand where it was going in terms of, like, the romance. Like, I think that, like, the build-up of the romance was not supposed to be with Wensha. But when he was introduced as a romantic character, I felt like they fit better. As, like, they made more sense together because Leeway, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those characters' names properly, he was great, but I feel like they were so good as friends. They made, like, so much sense as friends.
I agree.
And as sort of, like, lovers, it felt like, first of all, it felt very out of nowhere. Like, when she was introduced as, like, a character, I felt like he connected much better with her because, like, they had both, like, mysterious, like, pasts that, like, they didn't like to speak about.
Yeah.
So I sort of, like, as I was reading, I was like, oh, I hope she ends up with him. And then at the same time that I was like, I hope she ends up with him, I was like, no, this, like, something is going to, like, happen, and it's going to, like, I know that this is not going to end up, like, well. And obviously, like, he turned up, and, like, spoilers, if you haven't read it, he ended up, like, being, like, from the demon realm.
Evil.
And
technically.
Yes, but, like, again, I feel like he had, like, at the same time, he was, like, sort of...
They villainize the demon realm in the book. So you don't know that he's I mean, they call it the demon realm. It's not actually the name.
So I have this, like, connection with him that, like, he is, like, kind of bad. He lied to her and, like, not lied, but, like, admitted several things to her. And, like, he did things, like, in bad ways, but I still think that, like, they had better chemistry as a couple.
Yeah. Like, that's the problem. You don't want the good guy to win. You kind of want the bad guy to win.
Yeah.
And they did have a better connection because he, as opposed to just protecting her, he was encouraging her. He was helping her. He was, like, you know, showing her her own strength and her own, like, capabilities as opposed to just being, like, more, let me take care of you.
Yeah.
Very, fourth wing.
Yes.
You know, very Jane.
Yes,
fourth
exactly.
wing. That drove me crazy. Anyway, I'm done my list. We had a lot of overlap. I think that's where, which is good. I mean, I think that says something.
My honorable mention would be also from Akatar, and...
Is it Cassian?
Two from Akatar. It's Cassian and Lucian.
Oh,
Okay.
you love Lucian.
I like both of them.
I love the Court of Silver Flames. Cassian is like for me a pure like cinnamon bun. Like Cassian
Yes. Oh.
has done like everything and anything to just be good and to help everyone he loves and to save everyone. And like I can see him as a morally good character. I feel like he's a good character for me. But I
Yes.
still like wanted to mention him because he still
Cassian,
technically is morally gray.
Yeah, Cassian is definitely more on the cinnamon bun side
Yeah.
than Rhys is for me.
Yeah.
As well. So which is why it's also like he's also like I haven't gotten to like the Silver Flames yet.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'm gonna fall even more in love with him. But like one of the things that I actually loved the most about the second book in the Avatar series, it's the whole like side-ish characters. So like Cassian and Azrael and Morrigan. Like I just loved all of them
Yeah.
so much. That was like one of the best things for me. Like to be fair, for most of those two books, Rhys-san was not my favorite like character. I just like sort of like there is a point in the second book that like everything falls into place with Rhys-san, and you're just like, oh. So that is like sort of when like everything like fell into place with like Rhys for me. But Lucian is like one that when she was taken to like the Springport, based on like her relationship with Lucian, I was like early on I was sort of like wishing that she would connect with Lucian as opposed to Tamlin. He's also like not a bad character in a way. I mean, like he's done bad things in terms of like supporting Tamlin when he was doing bad things, but like he's also like more on the like nice side in a way.
I think so. He's like not a very prominent character for me. I don't
No.
I don't ever think about him.
I feel like if I had been reading, for example, the second book, he would not have been
Yeah.
on my list.
Exactly.
But because I'm reading the third book, I'm just like, oh, Lucian, I like him.
This is all, and let us know if you have any morally gray men that you would like to introduce to us. We are always happy
Searching.
We are always
Searching
searching.
for
We are
more.
always searching, and we always want to know more of them.
Yes.
And
Add to our TBR list, please.
yeah. And yes, we will see you in the next video. Yes. Bye.
Bye, thank you.